Have you ever felt stuck in a relationship that just doesn't feel right? Whether it's with a family member, a friend, or a romantic partner, sometimes these connections can become toxic and unhealthy. Today, we're diving deep into 9 clear signs that it might be time to walk away from a relationship, even if it's with someone close to you. Is your relationship draining your energy? Are you constantly feeling disrespected or unheard? If you're experiencing these or other warning signs, it's important to recognize them and take action. Remember, prioritizing your own well-being is crucial, and sometimes ending a relationship is the healthiest choice you can make. So, are you ready to discover the 9 signs that it's time to say goodbye? Let's dive in. Number 1. Lack of respect. As we navigate the complexities of relationships, we often find ourselves entangled in a web of emotions, expectations, and obligations. In the midst of this intricate dance, it's essential to recognize the importance of respect, a fundamental pillar that supports the foundation of any healthy relationship. When respect is absent, the entire structure begins to crumble, leaving us vulnerable to the whims of others and the turmoil of our own emotions. In the Stoic tradition, respect is not merely a feel-good sentiment or a fleeting gesture. It's a fundamental principle that underlies our interactions with others. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of living in accordance with nature, which includes treating others with dignity and respect. This notion is rooted in the understanding that we are all interconnected, and our actions have a ripple effect on those around us. When we engage with others, we must recognize that they possess inherent value and worth, deserving of respect regardless of their background, beliefs, or actions. This is not to say that we must condone or agree with their behavior. Rather, we should acknowledge their autonomy and the right to make their own choices. In doing so, we create an environment where individuals feel seen, heard, and valued, allowing them to flourish and grow. In relationships, respect manifests in various ways. It's the willingness to listen actively, to consider opposing perspectives, and to engage in constructive dialogue. Respect is the ability to disagree without being disagreeable, to maintain a sense of empathy and understanding, even in the face of adversity. When we respect others, we create a safe space for open communication, fostering an environment where individuals feel comfortable sharing their thoughts, feelings, and desires. Conversely, a lack of respect can be devastating. When we disregard others' boundaries, ignore their feelings, or dismiss their opinions, we erode the foundation of trust and create an atmosphere of tension and anxiety. Disrespect can take many forms, from subtle condescension to overt aggression. It can manifest as a dismissive tone, a patronizing attitude, or a blatant disregard for another's autonomy. In each case, the impact is profound, leaving the individual feeling belittled, unheard, and unvalued. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote extensively on the importance of treating others with kindness and respect. He recognized that our actions have a profound impact on those around us, and that even the slightest gesture of disrespect can have far-reaching consequences. In his letters, Seneca emphasized the importance of empathy, encouraging us to walk in the shoes of others and to understand their experiences and perspectives. When we fail to respect others, we not only harm them, but also ourselves. We create a sense of inner turmoil as our actions conflict with our values and principles. This dissonance can lead to feelings of guilt, shame, and anxiety, ultimately eroding our sense of self-worth and confidence. As Stoics, we recognize that our character is shaped by our actions and that disrespect towards others is a reflection of our own inner state. In the face of disrespect, it's essential to respond with equanimity and wisdom. We must recognize that others' behavior is often a reflection of their own struggles and limitations, rather than a personal attack on us. By maintaining a sense of detachment and objectivity, we can navigate these situations with greater ease, avoiding the emotional turmoil that often accompanies conflict. As we strive to cultivate respect in our relationships, we must also recognize that it's a two-way street. We must respect ourselves, acknowledging our own worth and value, and refusing to tolerate behavior that undermines our well-being. This self-respect is the foundation upon which all other relationships are built, and it's essential to prioritize our own needs and boundaries. In the words of Epictetus, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When we encounter disrespect, we have a choice. We can respond with anger, resentment, and bitterness, or we can rise above the situation, maintaining our dignity and composure. By choosing the latter, we not only preserve our own well-being, but also create an opportunity for growth and transformation. In conclusion, respect is the lifeblood of any healthy relationship. It's the foundation upon which trust, empathy, and understanding are built. As Stoics, we recognize that respect is not merely a sentiment or a gesture, but a fundamental principle that guides our interactions with others. By cultivating respect in our relationships, we create an environment of kindness, empathy, and understanding, allowing individuals to flourish and grow. When we encounter disrespect, we must respond with wisdom, equanimity, and self-awareness, recognizing that our character is shaped by our actions and that our inner state is reflected in our relationships. By prioritizing respect, we not only build stronger, more meaningful relationships, but also cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace and well-being. Number 2, feeling unsafe or threatened. Life is full of ups and downs, and sometimes we experience great loss and grief. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by sadness, but Stoicism offers a way to find peace and strength even in the darkest times. Stoicism isn't about ignoring our feelings or pretending everything is okay. It's about understanding that loss is a natural part of life and learning to cope with it in a healthy way. When faced with loss, the Stoic doesn't give in to despair. They remember the words of Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. We can't control what happens, but we can control how we respond. The Stoic knows that grief is a normal human emotion. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." We don't deny our feelings or try to push them away. We allow ourselves to feel the pain and sadness, but we don't let it control us. This doesn't mean we don't miss our loved ones or that we don't feel the loss deeply. The Stoic feels the pain of grief, but they don't let it consume them. They remember the words of Seneca, "He who is angry at the world is like a man who beateth a stone and expects the stone to feel pain." Instead of dwelling on the loss, the Stoic focuses on what they still have: the memories of their loved ones, the love and support of those around them, and the opportunity to live a meaningful life in their honor. They remember the words of Epictetus, "Happiness and freedom begin with understanding that some things are within our control and some things are not. It is only after we accept this that we can begin to find peace." This inner peace, this untroubled mind, is the ultimate goal of the Stoic in the face of loss and grief. It's not about forgetting our loved ones or pretending they never existed. It's about accepting that they are gone and finding a way to live a meaningful life without them. As Zeno said, "Live as if you were living for the second time, and as if you had acted wrongly the first time." The journey through loss and grief is not easy. It takes time, strength, and support from others. But the rewards are immeasurable. A deeper appreciation for life, a stronger connection to those we love, and the ability to find joy and meaning even in the face of profound loss. So, the next time you encounter loss and grief, remember the Stoics. Don't let sorrow consume you. Choose to find peace in the memories of your loved ones, to draw strength from the support of those around you, and to live a life that honors their legacy. In doing so, you will not only overcome the grief, but you will also emerge as a stronger, more resilient individual, capable of finding joy and meaning even in the face of adversity. Number 3, feeling like you're losing yourself. Life is a journey of growth and learning, but sometimes we feel stuck, like we're not moving forward. It's easy to get discouraged, but that's where Stoicism comes in. Stoicism isn't about giving up or settling for mediocrity. It's about taking control of our lives and becoming the best versions of ourselves, even when things are tough. When faced with a lack of personal growth, the Stoic doesn't blame their circumstances or give up. They remember the words of Epictetus: "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." We can't control everything, but we can control our response. The Stoic understands that sometimes we get stuck because we're afraid of failure, or because we're too comfortable where we are. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. We take responsibility for our own progress and don't let fear hold us back. This doesn't mean we have to be perfect. The Stoic knows that growth is a journey, not a destination. They embrace challenges and setbacks as opportunities to learn and improve. As Seneca wrote, "He who is angry at the world is like a man who beats the stone and expects the stone to feel pain." Instead of focusing on what we can't do, the Stoic focuses on what they can control, their own efforts and dedication. They set goals, break down big tasks into smaller steps, and celebrate their progress along the way. They remember Epictetus's words: "Happiness and freedom begin with understanding that some things are within our control and some things are not. It is only after we accept this that we can begin to find peace." This unwavering spirit, this relentless pursuit of self-improvement, is what makes the Stoic so strong. It's what allows them to overcome obstacles, embrace challenges, and reach their full potential. As Zeno said, "Live as if you were living for the second time and as if you had acted wrongly the first time." The journey of personal growth isn't easy, but it's worth it. It requires self-reflection, introspection, and a willingness to step outside of our comfort zones. But the rewards are immeasurable: a life of purpose, fulfillment, and the satisfaction of knowing that we are becoming the best versions of ourselves. So, the next time you feel stuck, remember the Stoics. Don't let setbacks define you. Choose to embrace the challenges, to strive for excellence, and to become the best version of yourself. In doing so, you will not only overcome the stagnation, but you will also embark on a journey of self-discovery that will enrich your life in countless ways. Number 4, constant negativity. If someone consistently criticizes you, puts you down, or makes you feel bad about yourself, it's a sign of a toxic relationship. You deserve to be with people who uplift and support you, not tear you down. Life throws a lot at us, some good, some bad. Sometimes we face negativity that seems to never end. It can feel like we're drowning in a sea of darkness. But even in these moments, there's a way to find peace and strength. That's where Stoicism comes in. Stoicism isn't about giving up or ignoring problems. It's about being smart about what we can control and letting go of what we can't. It's about focusing on our own thoughts and actions instead of getting caught up in the negativity around us. When faced with negativity, the Stoic doesn't get dragged down. They remember the words of Epictetus: "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." We can't control what others do or say, but we can control how we react. The Stoic understands that negativity often comes from the other person's own struggles. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. We don't fight fire with fire. We rise above it, staying calm and dignified. This doesn't mean we don't feel anything. We feel sadness, frustration, disappointment, but we don't let these emotions control us. We acknowledge them, understand where they come from, and then let them go. As Seneca wrote, "He who is angry at the world is like a man who bites a stone and expects the stone to feel pain." Instead of dwelling on the negativity, the Stoic focuses on what they can control, their own thoughts and actions. They choose to respond with reason and compassion, not anger and resentment. They remember Epictetus's words, "Happiness and freedom begin with understanding that some things are within our control and some things are not. It is only after we accept this that we can begin to find peace." This inner peace, this unshakable calm, is the Stoic's goal. It's not about being emotionless, but about understanding that external events don't define us. As Zeno said, "Live as if you were living for the second time, and as if you had acted wrongly the first time." The Stoic path isn't easy. It takes self-reflection, introspection, and the willingness to challenge our own biases and reactions. But the rewards are immense: inner peace, resilience in the face of adversity, and the ability to live a life of virtue and purpose. So the next time you face negativity, remember the Stoics. Don't let it drag you down. Choose to rise above, focus on what matters, and become a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. You are the master of your own destiny. Number 5. Lack of trust. Life throws a lot at us, some good, some bad. Sometimes we face betrayal and a lack of trust, which can leave us feeling hurt and vulnerable. But even in these moments, we can find strength and resilience. That's where Stoicism comes in. Stoicism isn't about ignoring problems or pretending everything is okay. It's about being smart about what we can control and letting go of what we can't. It's about focusing on our own thoughts and actions instead of getting caught up in the negativity around us. When faced with a lack of trust, the Stoic doesn't give up on humanity. They remember the words of Epictetus, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." We can't control what others do, but we can control how we react. The Stoic understands that a lack of trust often comes from the other person's own past experiences or insecurities. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." We don't fight fire with fire. We rise above it, staying true to ourselves and keeping our promises. This doesn't mean we become naive or gullible. The Stoic chooses who to trust carefully, based on their actions and character. They understand that trust is precious and shouldn't be given away easily. But the Stoic also knows that a lack of trust can hold us back from forming meaningful connections and experiencing the joys of friendship. As Seneca wrote, "He who is suspicious of everyone lives in perpetual torment." Instead of dwelling on the negativity, the Stoic focuses on the positive, on the people who have shown themselves to be trustworthy. They nurture these relationships, building a network of support and understanding. The Stoic also recognizes that trust is a two-way street. They strive to be trustworthy themselves, keeping their promises and being honest and transparent in their dealings with others. As Epictetus said, "The only way to gain the trust of others is to be trustworthy yourself." This unwavering trust, this belief in the inherent goodness of humanity, is the foundation upon which the Stoic builds their life. It is this trust that allows them to navigate the challenges of life with grace and resilience, knowing that even in the face of adversity, there is still hope for connection and understanding. So, the next time you encounter a lack of trust, remember the Stoics. Don't let it shatter your faith in humanity. Choose to rise above, to be trustworthy yourself, and to nurture the relationships that are built on trust and mutual respect. In doing so, you will not only overcome the negativity, but you will also contribute to creating a world where trust and connection are the norm, not the exception. Number 6, feeling drained or depleted. In the labyrinth of existence, amidst the tumultuous waves of fortune and misfortune, there exists a path, narrow and steep, that beckons those who seek mastery over their own souls. It is a path paved not with gold or glory, but with the Stoic virtues of self-control and fortitude. Imagine, if you will, a soul unyielding in the face of adversity, untouched by the caprices of fate. This is the hallmark of a true Stoic. For Stoicism is not merely a philosophy of words, but a way of life, an art of transforming the tempest of emotions into the calm sea of reason. Here we delve into the heart of Stoic wisdom, where the soul becomes a fortress against the onslaught of passions. In the words of the venerable Stoic philosopher Seneca, "He who is brave is free." To be brave in the Stoic sense is not to be without fear, but to confront fear with equanimity and courage. It is to acknowledge our vulnerabilities and yet stand firm in the face of adversity. The Stoics teach us that true freedom lies not in the absence of challenges, but in our response to them. "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality," remarked Seneca, a profound truth that cuts to the core of our human experience. How often do we allow ourselves to be tormented by anxieties and fears that exist only in our minds? The path to mastering our emotions begins with self-awareness. The Stoic sage Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us of the power of introspection. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This introspective journey leads us to the practice of mindfulness, the art of being present in the here and now, detached from the whirlwind of external events. Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to, advises the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, but rather wish that what happens happen the way it happens. In cultivating mindfulness, we develop a serene acceptance of the present moment, untethered from the tyranny of desires and fears. The Stoics teach us to focus not on changing the world around us, but on transforming ourselves within it. Yet, the Stoic path is not one of passive resignation, but of active engagement. We are called to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. "Fire tests gold, suffering tests brave men," wrote the ancient philosopher Seneca. Adversity becomes our crucible, forging our character and strengthening our resolve. To overcome destructive emotions, we must cultivate resilience, the indomitable spirit that rises from the ashes of adversity. The Stoic sage Epictetus implores us, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Imagine a life where setbacks are not stumbling blocks, but stepping stones to greatness. This is the promise of Stoicism, a philosophy that empowers us to navigate the turbulent waters of life with grace and dignity. In conclusion, my fellow seekers of wisdom, let us heed the call of the Stoic masters who have traversed this path before us. Let us embrace the virtues of self-control and fortitude, transforming our inner landscape into a sanctuary of tranquility and resilience. For in the words of the Stoic philosopher Seneca, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." May we walk this path together, united in our pursuit of wisdom and virtue. Let us strive to embody the essence of Stoicism, not merely in our words, but in the depths of our souls. Number 7, one-sided effort. In a healthy relationship, both individuals contribute to its growth and well-being. They put in the effort to nurture the connection, communicate openly, and support each other's needs and aspirations. However, when one person consistently puts in more effort than the other, the relationship becomes unbalanced and unsustainable. This dynamic, where one partner feels overburdened and the other feels neglected, can lead to resentment, frustration, and ultimately, the breakdown of the relationship. Imagine two people carrying a heavy load together. If one person carries a significantly larger portion of the weight, they will naturally become exhausted and resentful. The other person, feeling the lack of burden, might become complacent or even take advantage of the situation. This imbalance creates an unfair and unsustainable dynamic. Similarly, in a relationship, when one person consistently puts in more effort than the other, the scales tip. The one who gives more might feel drained, unappreciated, and even taken for granted. They might question the value of the relationship and wonder if their efforts are even worth it. On the other hand, the person who receives more might not fully understand the extent of the other's sacrifice and might take their efforts for granted. This lack of awareness and appreciation can further widen the gap between the two individuals. The imbalance can manifest in various ways. One person might be the one who always initiates conversations, plans dates, or makes compromises. They might be the one who consistently goes above and beyond to show their love and support, while the other person seems content to simply receive without reciprocating. This one-sided dynamic creates a power imbalance where one person feels obligated to please the other, while the other feels entitled to receive without giving back. The imbalance can also extend to emotional support. One person might be the one who is always there to listen, offer advice, and provide a shoulder to cry on, while the other person rarely reciprocates. This lack of emotional reciprocity can leave the giving partner feeling emotionally drained and unsupported, while the receiving partner might not fully appreciate the depth of the other's emotional investment. The consequences of a one-sided effort can be detrimental to the relationship. The person who consistently gives more might experience burnout, resentment, and a loss of self-esteem. They might feel like they are not valued or appreciated, and they might question the purpose of staying in the relationship. On the other hand, the person who receives more might become complacent, entitled, and even emotionally dependent on the other person. They might not fully understand the value of the other's efforts and might take their love and support for granted. To address the imbalance, open communication is crucial. The person who feels overburdened needs to express their feelings and needs to the other person. They need to explain how the one-sided effort is affecting them and how it is unsustainable in the long run. They need to set boundaries and expectations, and they need to be willing to walk away if the other person is not willing to make changes. The person who receives more needs to listen to the other person's concerns with an open mind and an empathetic heart. They need to understand the impact of their actions and how their lack of effort is affecting the relationship. They need to be willing to make changes and to start contributing more to the relationship's well-being. The imbalance can also extend to emotional support. One person might be the one who is always there to listen, offer advice, and provide a shoulder to cry on, while the other person rarely reciprocates. This lack of emotional reciprocity can leave the giving partner feeling emotionally drained and unsupported, while the receiving partner might not fully appreciate the depth of the other's emotional investment. The consequences of a one-sided effort can be detrimental to the relationship. The person who consistently gives more might experience burnout, resentment, and a loss of self-esteem. They might feel like they are not valued or appreciated, and they might question the purpose of staying in the relationship. On the other hand, the person who receives more might become complacent, entitled, and even emotionally dependent on the other person. They might not fully understand the value of the other's efforts and might take their love and support for granted. To address the imbalance, open communication is crucial. The person who feels overburdened needs to express their feelings and needs to the other person. They need to explain how the one-sided effort is affecting them and how it is unsustainable in the long run. They need to set boundaries and expectations, and they need to be willing to walk away if the other person is not willing to make changes. The person who receives more needs to listen to the other person's concerns with an open mind and an empathetic heart. They need to understand the impact of their actions and how their lack of effort is affecting the relationship. They need to be willing to make changes and to start contributing more to the relationship's well-being. Addressing the imbalance can be a challenging process, but it is necessary to save the relationship. Both individuals need to be willing to compromise, to communicate openly, and to put in the effort to create a more balanced and sustainable dynamic. If both partners are committed to making changes, the relationship can overcome the challenges and emerge stronger and more fulfilling. However, if the imbalance persists, despite efforts to address it, it might be a sign that the relationship is not meant to be. Sometimes, walking away from a one-sided relationship, even if it is painful, is the best way to protect your own well-being and to allow yourself to find a relationship where you are truly valued and appreciated. Number 8. Gut feeling. Your intuition is a powerful tool that can guide you in making decisions, especially when it comes to relationships. Sometimes, despite the absence of concrete evidence or rational reasons, you may feel a nagging sense that something is off or not right in your relationship. This gut feeling can be a subtle whisper or a loud alarm bell, but it's essential to pay attention to it. When you're in a relationship, you invest your emotions, time, and energy into it. You may have shared experiences, created memories, and built a connection with the other person. However, if you're consistently feeling unhappy, unfulfilled, or uneasy in the relationship, it's crucial to explore the reasons behind these emotions. Your gut feeling might be trying to tell you something that your rational mind is ignoring or downplaying. One of the primary reasons people ignore their gut feeling is because they're afraid of making a mistake or being wrong. They might think, maybe I'm just being paranoid or overly sensitive. But your intuition is a natural response to the subtle cues and vibrations you're picking up from the relationship. It's your body's way of warning you that something is amiss, even if you can't quite put your finger on what it is. Another reason people disregard their gut feeling is because they're invested in the relationship. They might have convinced themselves that the relationship is worth fighting for, or that they've come too far to give up now. But if your gut feeling is persistently telling you that the relationship is no longer serving you, it's essential to listen to it. Your intuition is not trying to sabotage your relationship, it's trying to protect you from further harm or unhappiness. So, how do you know if your gut feeling is trying to tell you something? One way to identify it is to pay attention to your physical sensations. Do you feel a knot in your stomach, a lump in your throat, or a sense of unease when you're around the other person? Do you feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly trying to avoid conflict or drama? These physical sensations can be a manifestation of your intuition trying to alert you to potential problems in the relationship. Another way to tap into your gut feeling is to reflect on your emotions. Are you consistently feeling anxious, depressed, or unhappy in the relationship? Do you feel like you're not being heard, seen, or valued? Are you constantly trying to justify or rationalize the other person's behavior, even when it doesn't feel right to you? Your emotions can be a powerful indicator of whether the relationship is aligning with your values, needs, and desires. It's also essential to examine your thoughts and patterns in the relationship. Are you constantly thinking about the relationship, worrying about what the other person might do or say? Are you replaying conversations or events in your head, trying to make sense of them? Are you feeling like you're stuck in a cycle of negativity, drama, or conflict? These thought patterns can be a sign that your gut feeling is trying to tell you something. So, what do you do when your gut feeling is telling you that the relationship is no longer healthy or beneficial for you? The first step is to acknowledge and validate your emotions. Recognize that your feelings are real and deserving of attention. Don't try to suppress or ignore them, as this can lead to further emotional distress. The next step is to take a step back and assess the relationship objectively. Look at the patterns, behaviors, and dynamics that are causing you distress. Identify the specific issues that are contributing to your gut feeling. Is it a lack of communication, a power imbalance, or a sense of disrespect? Once you've identified the issues, you can start to explore ways to address them. However, if you've tried addressing the issues and the relationship is still not improving, it may be time to consider ending the relationship. This can be a difficult and painful decision, but it's essential to prioritize your own well-being and happiness. Remember, your gut feeling is trying to guide you towards a more fulfilling and healthy life. In conclusion, your gut feeling is a powerful tool that can help you navigate relationships. It's essential to pay attention to your physical sensations, emotions, thoughts, and patterns in the relationship. By acknowledging and validating your gut feeling, you can make more informed decisions about whether the relationship is serving you. Don't be afraid to trust your intuition and prioritize your own well-being. Your happiness and fulfillment depend on it. Number 9, no effort. When you find yourself in a relationship where you feel like you're the only one making an effort, it's time to take a step back and assess the situation. A healthy relationship requires mutual effort, and when one person consistently fails to contribute, it can create an imbalance that leads to feelings of resentment, frustration, and dissatisfaction. When you're the only one putting in the effort, it can feel like you're carrying the entire weight of the relationship on your shoulders. You might find yourself constantly trying to make plans, initiating conversations, and being the one to reach out. This can be exhausting and draining, leaving you feeling like you're not being valued or respected in the relationship. It's important to recognize that relationships are a two-way street. They require mutual effort, communication, and respect. When one person consistently fails to contribute, it can create a power imbalance that erodes the foundation of the relationship. If you find yourself in a situation where you're consistently making all the effort, it's essential to address the issue with the other person. Communicate your feelings and concerns in a calm and respectful manner and allow them to respond. It's possible that they may not be aware of their behavior or the impact it's having on the relationship. However, if you've addressed the issue and the other person continues to fail to make an effort, it's essential to consider the future of the relationship. It's not fair to you to carry the entire weight of the relationship on your own, and it's unlikely to lead to a fulfilling and healthy connection. Instead, it's important to prioritize your own well-being and happiness. This might mean taking a step back from the relationship, focusing on your own needs and interests, or exploring other options. By doing so, you can create the space and opportunity to find a more fulfilling and healthy relationship that aligns with your values and goals. It's essential to recognize that relationships are a reflection of our values and priorities. When we're in a relationship where we're consistently making all the effort, it's a sign that something is off balance. It's a sign that the relationship is not aligned with our needs and desires, and that it's time to consider a different approach. When you find yourself in a relationship where you're consistently making all the effort, it's essential to take a step back and assess the situation. Communicate your concerns with the other person and allow them to respond. If the situation doesn't improve, it's important to prioritize your own well-being and happiness. By doing so, you can create the space and opportunity to find a more fulfilling and healthy relationship that aligns with your values and goals. And that's a wrap. We've explored 9 crucial signs that it might be time to reevaluate and potentially end a relationship. even if it's with someone close to you. Remember, prioritizing your own well-being and happiness is essential. Don't be afraid to take control of your relationships and make the tough decisions when necessary. So, what's the one relationship in your life that you've been hesitant to address, but know deep down needs a closer look? Thanks for watching, and I hope this video has given you the courage to take the first step towards a healthier, happier you.